Instagram family. Hello, Facebook family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And thank you for joining me for Business Strategies and Tips with Lady L. I'm going to jump right in because I have a class myself I need to be getting into in the next few minutes. So, with that being said, we are staying on this topic of business credit. If you've got any colleagues in business, family, people that have in conversation have talked about how do you get business credit? What is business credit? You need to tell them to tune in today and the rest of next week because we're going to be touching different topics regarding business credit. So let's dive in. One question that comes up is, well, does a business have a credit score? While you may think credit scores are reserved for individuals, businesses also receive that ever important number. Similar to personal credit scores, business credit scores play a part in how lenders judge your business's eligibility for credit products such as loans, credit cards, trade lines, etc. We'll go into all of that. Is your business credit score the same as your personal credit score? Your personal credit score and business credit score are two separate but kind of related numbers that tells lenders your credit worthiness, that you are a business, that you are operating a bona fide business, and that you are developing personal business credit. On the surface, the difference between the two scores is very clear. One relates to your personal financial history, and the other relates to your business financial history. So now you may ask the question, well, what is a business credit score called? Since they are two different things, then what is the business credit score called? A Strategz score. It's a business credit score similar to your own personal credit score in that the difference is it's issued by Dun & Bradstreet and represents how likely it is that your business will pay vendors and suppliers on time. That's why it's critical that, again, go back to my YouTube channel, Lady Verne, Ladyverne, where we talk about how you are to set up your business entity, and registering with Dun & Bradstreet is one of those important key factors. Now, while your personal credit scores range from 0 to 850, your Strategz score is ranged between 0 and 100. A business credit score is an indicator of the level of risks it represents when it comes to either missing payments or defaults on debt, such as your net 30 or net 10, depending on what arrangement you're working with whatever trade line or vendor you're looking to obtain credit. Where most modern general use personal credit scores range from 3 to 850, business credit scores can vary, and again, they range between that 1 to 100. For example, Dun & Bradstreet assigns a score on a scale of 1 to 100, as I forestated, with 100 being the best possible Strategz score. Scores are divided into 3 risk categories. 0 to 49 indicates high risk, meaning late payments. 50 to 79 indicates a moderate risk, that you're kind of sort of paying your bills pretty good, but you may have a late payment here or there that you need to fix and tighten up. And of course, 80 to 100 indicates that you are a low risk, meaning that you are able to get the max when it comes to acquiring business credit. Business credit scores are determined using the following factors: payment history, age of your credit history, and we'll talk about aging credit history in one of our next sessions because that's critically important that you understand how that works. Debt and debt usage. In other words, are you acquiring business credit and you're using it for the purpose in which it was intended? That counts into your score too, because what it's saying to a lender or a trade line giver, that You are operating your business like a business. You're not mixing business and personal. The industry risk and company size. Your industry has a lot to do or plays a big part in what type of level of risk they're looking to extend credit to you, such as construction and different types of industries. That goes on a different level of credit development. Personal credit scores are determined using different factors such as your payment history, amount of the debt, new credit, credit mix, and average length of credit history. So they're parallel, but they're still uniquely different. Now, what is a really good Paydex score? We talked about the fact that your sources should try to keep a Paydex score of at least a 75 in order to be considered in good standing. Of course, a score 80 and above is optionally great, but that's the 75 is the lowest that you want to go. Okay, anything higher than that means the business consistently pays their bills early. In business, it's better to pay them a little bit early than really on time. You want to be on time, you don't want to be late, but if you can just take care of them just a little bit earlier, that says to a trade line giver or a lender that you're conscientious of when your bills are due, you're conscientious of how you are monitoring your cash flow to make sure that your business is generating the right revenue so that you can take care of your obligations and expenses. So with that being said, that is our little excerpt about the introduction of the business credit score. So definitely make sure that Monday through next Saturday you're tuning in with me. We're going to touch little bits and pieces about business credit, and I want to give them to you in bits and pieces because it's detailed. It's something extremely serious because it tells the general public, especially the lending public, a history about how you do business. And kind of sort of rule of thumb, if you have jacked up personal credit or personal mismanagement of your financial resources, unless you hire the people that you need around you that is really on top of what they need to do in handling your finances, you have the right financial accountant that keeps you abreast of what's going on, that gives you good advisement as to how you need to flow in your business, especially from a tax perspective, so that you're getting the maximum tax benefits that you can get through your business. This tells the story, so you want to make sure that you're setting out a right story. Don't beat yourself up if your story ain't cool right now. Do what you need to do to fix it. Sit down. We'll discuss about how to analyze your business credit reports and different things of that nature so that you can stay on top of what you need to do to not only have a profitable personal financial portfolio, but also a good business financial portfolio. With that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Love on your mothers. Do what you got to do to make women who are moms, aunties that may be moms, let them know how much you appreciate them, how much you love them, and how much you value them. Not taking them for granted. But even though we need to show them our love every day, definitely make sure that you go out the extra mile to do that on today and tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.